Hi everyone, it's Silene Burns here from the Spiritual Marketing Club. Now, today I wanted to talk about what is spiritual marketing and why do I think spiritual marketing is a really powerful way to market your holistic or spiritual business. So let's look at what marketing is first. So if we look at marketing, marketing is very much about communicating and sharing your products and services. And through the years, how we share our products and services have basically changed quite dramatically. And if you think about even a few centuries ago, the basic way that most people marketed their products or services were maybe market stalls or maybe then getting into shops, okay? So people would go and they would basically sell. People would arrive each week or go every day to a market or whatever, and there they would get what they needed, okay? Now, that began to completely change when the Industrial Revolution came in and different things started to change with industry, and also when the infrastructure changed all around the world, where a lot of countries were becoming more accessible, a lot more things were getting imported and exported. And what happened then was business became more competitive, manufacturing became more competitive. And if we think about things like food, we started to get more choices. But what happened was it started almost being like price wars and competition between different companies. And if you look at even the way that, if you think about America particularly, they really started really pushing different ways to change media. And I'm going to show you different examples or explain different examples, but things started to evolve and they had to start thinking more cleverly how to get their message across and how to convince people to buy their product or service rather than someone else. And it's mostly then products, okay? So if you think about all sorts of even old brands, and let's think about even Coca-Cola, okay? So Coca-Cola is a very, very old brand. And I want you to think about Santa Claus, the way that we look at Santa Claus now. So what a lot of people don't realise is that Coca-Cola actually took the original picture of what Santa Claus was and realised it wasn't marketable, right? Because if you look at St. Nicholas, St. Nicholas was actually this really thin, very actually sinister looking man. So what did they do? They decided to be very clever, and again it was psychology. It was very much, if you look at a lot of where marketing evolved, it was actually developed, and how could you say, the people behind it were actually psychologists. So they would hire in top psychologists and people in those sort of fields to actually understand people's emotions, understand people's behaviours, and the mind, and how they could persuade them to buy. And that's where marketing evolved from. And basically what they took, going back to Father Christmas or Santa Claus, they took what was Father Christmas or St. Nicholas, and they took him and they marketed him into this jolly man, right? This person with rosy cheeks. So there was a whole psychology. Even what he wore was changed. Everything was changed to look appealing. The colours were chosen deliberately. Lots of things were chosen, even the words, to portray this comfy, cuddly, endearing character, right? And Coca-Cola has been very, very effective at doing a lot of things to encourage. And it's interesting why why was it that is one of the biggest things that people have consumed for a long time. And there's a huge part of the way that they have, and the psyche of of triggering people's emotions, encouraging them to feel. It's like, so what marketing does in many ways is triggers certain feelings of wanting, or that triggering that this product will make you feel this. And we don't see it on the conscious level, but it's working on the unconscious. We all see it in TV, and we see the emotional videos that have us really kind of stop and thinking. We also see the other ones that entice, the really get into the ego. And if you think about the ones that kind of show you the glamorous model, or the sportsman, or that, someone that's really good looking and they've got this sleek car, and how it's almost convincing you, if you buy this car, you're going to be this powerful, you're going to be just like such and such. Now, that is because it's tapping into our emotions of where we feel a lack, or not enough, or what we need more of, what we think is going to make us more happy. And we're exposed to that every single day. The problem is that most marketing today is very dishonest and manipulative. And most healers, particularly advanced healers and evolved healers that I work with, just don't, it puts them off. They don't want to market like that. And even in the holistic and wellness and spiritual sector, we see every day so many adverts promising the world, promising that you can transform somebody's life, promising that if they do your course, that they can earn whatever in 2 weeks. And a lot of what people sell is very, very manipulative. There's different levels of, and there's what we call unethical marketing, where it completely implies something that really rarely gives. Now, it really depends on who your audience is, but some of you will have huge audiences that are very, very vulnerable, and you'll have some of those people that are vulnerable, and I'm saying some, you probably have a lot of those in these sectors that have spent a lot of money in products or services that promised the world and never delivered. And more consumers are getting consumer savvy, that just because something says that it does something does not mean that it does. Now, I'm someone that's been a huge consumer in the holistic and spiritual sector, as for products, for services, and also training. And I learned the very hard way, very, very hard way, that a lot of things, and in many ways, sadly, more than a lot of most things, are actually not always what's on the tin, and are implied what are not always in the tin, right? And consumers see that. And now, when there is such a, in many ways, in some industries within the holistic and wellbeing sector, there seems to be a big massive saturation. And if you look at Facebook, everybody's trying to sell their wares, right? So think about it from the consumer's point of view. The consumer knows that a lot of people make false promises, and they can't guarantee, but they're trying to say that they can, and that's what they do, okay? So they're saying that. A person that really wants the right person is going to be put off with that type of sale. They tend to want to be drawn to the person that they're aligned with. And what I mean by alignment, because there's sometimes that I feel that how people describe alignment in relation to business, I just sometimes think that their views, not how I see it, but when I talk about alignment, I mean that you're aligned in a way that, and that may be a personality, that there's something about you that they're attracted to you, first of all. There is something that you've got that they need at that point. They feel it's something that they maybe don't have enough of, or they need, right? So there's aspects. So for example, because I'm a carer and a nurturer, there's a lot of people who come to me that they're maybe nurturers, caregivers, but they're not getting it in their life. They need more of that. Okay, so other than other things that they're coming to me for, there is an unconscious that they're coming to feel supported. Okay, so you've got that. Then your alignment is about not just the product or service that you're offering, but the level of what you're offering, the level of your genius, the level of your expertise, because everyone's different. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I know lots of healers and therapists that in a relationship with, I'm very aligned to them. I got on well with them. I really like them as people, and I spend a lot of time with them. But do I go to all of them for help? No, I don't, because all of them have different types of expertise, levels of experience, and some of them are not what I would call my ideal therapist for maybe what I need. Okay, I may like them, and for some things I might go to them, but for certain things I don't, even though they are a good contact. If they're not the best fit for the product or service I need, I won't. Now, I'll give you an example. One of the medical conditions that I was originally diagnosed with, which was part of my conditions, but just one aspect of it, was ME, right? And to get someone that's really, really, how could you say, skilled and an expert in that area is quite hard. But there is holistic therapists that do offer that area. But what I found was I went down a lot of routes where a lot of people were doing these kind of things, were doing it and charging a lot of money, but they were not experts. They were trying to be everything, so they were trying to cover naturopathy, nutrition, toxin or stress. And then there was also people who were actually, their experience of ME was very vague and not very extreme. But they were attracting clients at extreme situations, but they couldn't help them because they had no awareness or understanding of someone who had quite extreme circumstances. And I was someone who had quite extreme circumstances, another complex medical. So they weren't the right therapists for me because actually, in most cases, I knew more than them. Okay, and also all the things that they had used, I had used for many years, and that was not shifted. So basically what happens in that scenario is that they're not recognising that what level. So it's always so important that you know what level that you're offering at and what's your niche and what you're great at, right? And that is, that's really, really important. It's also important in business to know things like your within in personality and what people are going to be attracted to is seeing those other aspects of you. Now, sometimes it's not always, it's usually the solution people are looking for, right? Sometimes if your audience is actually other healers or therapists, they may prefer a type of therapy, right? But there's a whole sort of all these things that make you unique, right? And in spiritual marketing, what we're doing is we're helping you be very clear in your message so that you attract more of the right clients and more of what I call ideal clients and soul clients. And you don't attract clients that are not going to be happy, because obviously, first of all, I wasted thousands of pounds on people that were never going to serve me. So they were sending out their own message. They were taking money off me that was not going to help me. But nobody wants that. And someone that's a healer or therapist certainly does not want that. Doesn't want a client that comes to them. It is not any further forward, and it's a waste of their money. You want to be attracting the clients that you are best suited to serve. And that's what spiritual marketing, through a variety of ways, it's about more authentic marketing, but it's also, I use archetypal marketing. I use other things that I've learned over studying marketing for 20 years. And what we do is we bring your personality into the branding that you do, the colours that you use, and the way that you come across even in your communication. Now, you might think, but I'm doing that by just being myself. But the problem is, most of us don't even realise what we're doing is, on an unconscious level, we're following other people, how they do things in marketing. We're following other business coaches and mentors who, for starters, are not healers, or they're not your type of healer. So I work with all sorts of archetypes that are healers. And a lot of them are alchemists, for example. Some of them, maybe sage, and some of them are creatives, and some of them are like me, they're very strong nurturers. But the strongest one tends to be the alchemist magician, okay? But even within the alchemist magician personality trait, there is threads of complete difference. So all those clients, I can see they're completely different. So they've got a different energy within that. And what one colour of an alchemist would suit one of them will not suit another one. So I'll give you an example. Some are very, very strong psychic alchemists. Some are not. Some are people very mental. They're very driven on a mental level. So there's a different energy to them. And then they have their expertise, and then they have their solutions that they offer those clients. And that's what I believe spiritual marketing is all about. It's about helping someone be more honest and soulful and pure in the way that they market themselves. And what it does is it helps your message be more laser focused, and your audience it can take a little bit of time to get it right, but once you've got it right, then people can feel you in your marketing, and they can feel, in your brand, the colours and the other things. So that means even when you're posting on social media, that you're not doing videos, you're not actually being present, that your energy is coming through. And that's why I love spiritual marketing. So if you would like to learn more about spiritual marketing, you can check out my website at www.spiritualmarketingclub.com and check out, I have a lot of free resources. I also have a newsletter which is called Marketing Spirit, where I give out weekly tips. Bye for now.